Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Damon Campbell with Music'sMyLife.com here at Burn Rubber in Detroit with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Stalley, simple and plain.
Stalley, it's a pleasure to meet you, man. Definitely appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
Does the line "Word is bond, Stalley on" sound familiar at all?
Yeah, it definitely is. Very familiar. I'm trying to think of. Wow, what's that? Going 8?
Wasn't that like from a friend of yours was like in your room one day?
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
a rhyme?
yeah. Definitely. That's my friend Jason. Actually, you know what I mean. He put that in one of his raps back in the day.
Because he used to call you Stalley on. But it originally came from like you kind of being like a black stallion.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Just growing up, like a Midwest kid playing sports, being on the court. People used to call me like a workhorse, a stallion. I moved graceful on the court, so it was something that kind of stuck with me and my friends and family, and we just kept it going. And then, like I said, my friend Jason put that in a rap, Stalley on, tried to make it jazzy. Yeah,
and definitely.
Now it's Stalley.
And here we are. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
And it seems like that blue-collar workhorse mentality it's sort of instilled in you in an early age growing up in Massillon, so much so that it's actually nicknamed the Milk.
Yeah, definitely. We nickname it the Milk because we milking it for what it's worth. There ain't a lot there. It's very limited resources, but we just trying to milk the cow. Squeeze
definitely.
everything out that we can possibly do, and that's just the vibe and the feel of the whole city. Just out working, being productive, and just being more like of a family unit and community.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of milk, I would have to assume that you drank your fair share of it growing up, because if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't until college that you ever broke any bones.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it was a foot and shoulder injury that kind of kept you off the court for the most part at Michigan and LIU.
Right, yeah. So I never really got to live out that dream or play sports, So I was at LIU in Brooklyn and ended up staying in New York, and then that flourished into a music career.
Yeah,
so it was definitely good. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that I doubt your fellow Ohioans felt the same type of betrayal that they felt when LeBron left the Cavs, of course.
Nah.
And for those who don't know,
school is school.
Yeah, definitely. But for those who don't know, you actually had a chance to play against him in high school?
Yeah, definitely. Growing up playing at Massillon, he went to St. V, so I got to play against him. It was, definitely an experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's definitely a talent, as you can see, the best player on the planet. So, yeah.
Yeah, and he is, after all, the chosen one.
Exactly.
But to your credit, though, haven't you actually been known to get plucked from a crowd as well, particularly at concerts growing up?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Growing up as a kid, I was pulled on the stage by a lot of different artists, and it was cool, like from everybody from like Shantae Moore to Kid and Play. I don't know why, but they always just singled me out of the crowd and pulled me on stage to either dance or to sing to me, whatever. So it was cool, man.
That's crazy. And in terms of being selected by Rick Ross to be a part of his label, I understand that Currency actually had a helping hand in that?
Yeah, definitely. Currency, that's my brother, my dog. And, he was familiar with Ross before me. Him and Wiz did a song with Ross. And so they stayed in contact. And then Ross reached out to him knowing that he knew me, asked for his number. And the Currency called me, was like, yo, Ross wants your number. Is it cool if I give it to him?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, so then Ross gave me a call, and it's, we here now.
And wasn't it kind of like your guys' collab addresses that sparked his interest in the first place?
What Ross seen on MTV, that, shout out to MTV Jams. They gave that video a lot of rotation and heavy play, and Ross seen it there and, witnessed the talent that I had and was like, man, I need you to be a part of Maybach.
Yeah, definitely. And I find it fitting that you signed a Maybach music group of all labels, because I know you have a infatuation with cars, going back to Lincoln Way, that strip. Growing up there in Massillon, and located at 156 there on Lincoln Way is the Lions Lincoln Theater, which I actually understand you were the first artist to perform inside of.
Correct. Perform there. I don't know if I'm the first artist. I'm definitely the first black artist, hip hop artist to ever perform there. Right. So that was definitely a milestone for the city and history for the city. A blessing for me, growing up, going there to watch movies and different things like that. And that building and our library is like two of the oldest buildings to still stand in Massillon. Yeah. So it's definitely a blessing to be able to be a part of that.
Absolutely, an honor. And Most Def is certainly a great example of someone who's been able to mix movies with music.
Yeah.
And I understand it was actually a chance encounter with him that kind of led to you pursuing music full on?
Yeah, definitely. When I first started doing music, I was in a store similar to this in New York, called Prohibit. And I had some friends who worked in there. I did some recording. I brought it back to the store. We was playing it through the store. And then Most just walked in. He heard the music and was asking who it was. They told him it was me. And then he just kind of, reached out, asked somewhat of kind of like a mentor just to be like, yo, man, stay in touch. I like what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And then, that was something that definitely helped motivate me to continue to take it serious and go full steam with it.
Definitely. And I know you actually worked in retail yourself at A-Life.
Yeah.
And even had a chance to meet Nas when you guys hosted a performance of his there. But for those who don't know, what's the significance of his song, It Ain't Hard to Tell?
Man, to me, that's one of the best verses. His verse on that song is one of the best verses of all time to me. So, growing up, I admired Nas, still a fan of his, you know what I mean? And it was definitely an honor to be a part of that, too, that back, in the back session with him at A-Life and meeting him. Yeah. Definitely dope.
And didn't it inspire, a trip to Quonset Hut?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, It Ain't Hard to Tell definitely was, when I fell in love with hip-hop, you know what I mean? That record right there is I remember watching that on Rap City, went to Quonset Hut, which was a local record store. I asked for the single, but just so happened that same day his album had came out. So I just was give me the whole album. And then I went home, took it home, listened to it, and I never listened to hip-hop the same, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
So.
And getting close to the end here, Nas is, of course, known as God's son, whereas you have a song called God's Child,
right?
Which I understand had a pretty big impact on one fan in particular as well.
Yeah, definitely. Last year I was on tour with Kendrick Lamar. We was in Arizona, and a guy came backstage and he told me that he was had a down part of his life and he was contemplating committing suicide. And as he was doing it, he had some music playing in the background, and that song came on and it stopped him.
That's crazy.
So it was dope, and that's what I make music for, is to help and save people's lives. Hopefully, So to hear that story was definitely a testament to what I'm doing. So.
Absolutely. And lastly, as you mentioned, your music has been known to save at least one life.
Right.
But with that being said, at this point in your career, do you in any way consider music your life?
Yeah, it's definitely my life. It's always been, you know what I mean? I do everything. I eat, sleep, wake up to music, you know what I mean? And I've always have. So I just try to, again, put my heart into my music and create a soundtrack for those who, are like-minded individuals. So
definitely. And I asked that because of my site, once again, being musicsmylife.com.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Ties together there. But Stalley, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Great chatting with you. Best wishes with everything coming your way. Is there anything else you want to say to people out there watching?
Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Stalley, Stalley. Get that Honest Cowboy on iTunes.
There you have it. Once again, I'm Damon Campbell, and this is Stalley. Thanks for watching.